Okay, let's see. How do you do this? What we're going to do here is uh, get some tweets and filter them for one subject. In the assignment, you're supposed to do two subjects, but I'll just do one, then you can do the other one. And then gonna annotate it with that new annotator program, and then you're going to average the sentiment over all the tweets to get a score for that subject. And then you're going to do the same thing again with another subject. So I'll do it with the iPhone and Android, but you can do it with whatever. For example, you could choose two airlines, like in the United States there's Delta Airlines and um, United Airlines. So you could compare those, for example, or something. You choose your two words. And then after that, I'm going to also build a model for predicting the sentiment. So let's go through this. So first of all, I want to go to this website and I'll download this Tools for Tweets, if I can. And that's taking a little bit of time. And at the same time, I will take some tweet files. Okay, so here they are. I extracted the tools for tweets, and I have this cleanup, and I also have this one. This is when, if you use this uh, program here, this is an Microsoft Access program. This will, along with this file and this file, will add on the country and the city and the longitude and the latitude to the tweets, but we're not going to use that. If you did do that first, then you'd want to use this cleanup with locations, but I'm not going to do that. Uh, so I'll open this up. I have to go down there. I have to go in there. I have to go in there. That's the file. That's the program. And now I have to get some tweets. So I have tweets here. And then I just open this up. And there it is. And I want to filter first for Android. And I hope I don't get things that are not Android. Okay, Android. Hope I get things that are not Android phone. Dot CSV. And I'll take some tweets. Say these. I guess that might be a lot. I don't know. And just drag them on here. And it's going to go through all of these. Then it's finished. And I can see that here's Android if I open it up. Remember, if you open it, it's okay, but don't save it. So I open it and I check Android phone, and so on. Okay, so I got the Android file. And now I'm going to take this file, so maybe I'll copy or cut it and bring it out to the annotator and put it in here. And then I'm going to run the annotator, and that gives me this interface here. And I open it up and I do Android. And I do, by the way, how big was that Android file? It was 67. That's not too bad. And I'll call it Android Sentiment. .csv. And I'll start it. And hopefully it won't take too long. And then it's finished. And I can close this. And I should have Android Sentiment, which gives me this here. You can see it here. So you can see I have these new variables like sentiment here, cent or emo. I'm going to use that one. Now just for fun, let's see if this worked at all. So this is negative. So why is it negative? Here's the Android News of the Week. I wouldn't call that negative, so I don't know why it is. How about this one? I wouldn't know about that one. Here's another one. Wouldn't know about that one either. It's odd, but no, it's not odd. So I guess, yeah, this says negative, but actually it's positive. So, well, anyway, let's continue. So let's scroll down to the bottom here and click in here, and then I'm going to click auto sum, but I'm going to use the average and hit enter, and the average is 73. And I shouldn't save that, by the way. We shouldn't save this. If you want to make a record of this, that might be okay, but don't save this file. So I'll put the record here, and this is for Android, right? Okay, and then I want to close this without saving it. No. And now I want to go back and do exactly the same thing, but for so maybe I'll try and use exactly the same files that I used last time. If I go back and do that. And this time I'm going to call this iPhone. .csv, and I'll put in iPhone here. And I'll drag exactly the same files on there. I don't know. Okay, and then I'll wait for that to finish. Okay, and then it's finished, and this file is a lot bigger, 554. So it's much bigger. There's a lot more tweets about iPhone, I guess. And I won't need this anymore. And I will take this, and I'll cut it and put it in the annotator. And maybe just open it up just to check it. No, wait, sorry, I didn't annotate it yet. Let's annotate it. Wait, why was that called? Somehow I gave the name iPhone T to it. I guess that didn't matter. Okay, so open it. This one. And let's call it iPhone Sentiment.csv. And start. Now this one's going to take longer. Maybe you couldn't see what I just did. I'm not sure, actually. Was that in the screen or not? Anyway, I think you know what I did. Okay, so it finished. So I don't need this anymore. So here's the iPhone sentiment. Let's take a look at that one. It's a bigger file, I'm sure. And see how this is falling out here. That means that Excel is reading some comments probably in here. I don't see any comments, but or maybe something here. Oh, sorry, something in here as a new field indicator. So that's why it gets pushed out. Maybe New York. Maybe somehow New York City is outside the quote mark. So that's why. So maybe that's some kind of error. In fact, that might cause an error when we try and read this in Weka, because you see up here that this could definitely cause an error. Maybe not. But what I'm thinking is that if this whole thing should be quoted And New York City is outside the quote. That might be a problem. Anyway, let's see. We'll see. Anyway, let's look at some of the negative ones. For example, here's a -2. Let's see, why is that? Well, that's not very good. Uh, well, here's a +1. It's about +7. Somebody says, I love my iPhone. That is all. Can't wait to upgrade. So that's very positive. And in this algorithm that counts the words, we count if the word occurs more than once, we count it more than once. And that seems to be appropriate in this particular tweet, right? This person is really positive about it. So maybe that's a good thing. Here's a negative. So here's a -1. It says, laugh out loud, it's the app, not the framework. Why does the iPhone autocorrect curse words? So ducking stupid. So this gets a -2, probably from this stupid and curse. Maybe. Alright, anyway, so we have this file. Let's go down to the bottom. And let's do the same thing we did before. Auto sum and average. Ooh, and the iPhone wins. The iPhone is 108. Okay, let's mark that. iPhone. Okay, maybe that's like this, right? Okay, so now we'll keep that. Let's now remember, don't save this. Just close it, don't save it. All right, now let's try and build a model. Let's go through that. And let's do that. Don't need that. Let's, shall we do it on the iPhone or on the Android? Kind of more interested in the Android. So I'm going to do it on the Android. Hopefully this works. So I'm going to open up Weka. And can you see this? Let's see. Yeah, I think you can see that. And I'm going to open up this file. By the way, where is it? It's in here. Tools for tweet, new annotator. So Dex tools for tweet. I know, is it this one? And no, it's not that one. Maybe this one. New annotator. Change this to CSV. Okay, so there it is. Now remember this, don't forget that. And I'm going to do Android, although maybe I should do iPhone. I think I'll do iPhone actually. iPhone and open. Oh, and I forgot to check which, I think I can still check. Go back to here. Which field is the text field, the string field? So it's here, D, column D. So it's field number 4. So I go back to here and I want the string. Make sure you don't click in here because I've done that. Click in here and make it, I want to make that one a string. Okay, now here it is. And I want to use the string to word vector filter on this. Now I'm going to get rid of this, even location. Location is certainly interesting part of predicting sentiment on iPhone. It might be very interesting. I think maybe I'll leave that in there, but the problem is that there's so many values for this, and they're all just like everybody's from a different place. You can see there's hardly anybody from the same, like here there's 4 people with the same label for location. So it's really not so interesting actually. Here there's 8 people from Los Angeles. I'm going to take it out. You guys can play with it, see what you think. But if you leave it in, it's going to make a tree probably really impossible to read. But it could be interesting. Or somehow if you could trim it or combine places that were like everything in the United States as in the United States. Now that's what that other function, that other Access Microsoft Access program would do for you. But that you could run that if you only use like 10 Twitter files. But if you want to use like 1,000 Twitter files, I mean, I'm talking about 1,000 of those 25 megabyte files or 800 of them. That's going to take weeks to run it on that. But if you just run it on like 9 files, you might be able to do it. Anyway, I'm going to get rid of that. Remember, I don't want this, this, this. I only want one sentiment measure. So whichever one I choose, and I'm going to choose the last one here, then I want to get rid of the other ones. So I'm going to do that because you don't want to use them as inputs. And then I'm going to remove. Okay, so I just have the text and this. And now I'm going to apply that. And it seems like you have to make this one. Do not operate on class basis true for some reason with our files. And I'm going to make lowercase true. I'm going to make this 10 to start out and see how big a dictionary I get. Output word counts true. Stem, stop list true. And I think that's all I have to do. Okay. And I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to try and run it. Okay, now it did it. And it got how many variables? 335. Now you could say, well, I want to get rid of this and this and this, so I'll remove those because they're totally meaningless. And these things, if you know about tweet, you'll know that the check in front has something to do with the subject, but I definitely could get rid of some of these. And you might want to clean this file up more. Get rid of all those. I explain in another video a fast way to get rid of these things, but I'm not going to use it. I don't even want these numbers. It's just going to make the tree messier. So why should I have them in there? They're not going to give me any useful information. The @ I think is like a user. That doesn't mean anything to me. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything to me. That might mean something to somebody, but it doesn't mean anything to me. That doesn't mean anything to me. That doesn't mean anything to me. That doesn't really mean anything to me. I'm not interested in ha and ha ha, actually. We're not actually interested in emotional words because, well, I'm not sure about that actually. I'll leave them in. And I don't want these either. I don't know what they mean actually. I'll take out yet and night. Although they. Alright. So you can clean this up. Alright, so I'm going to just remove all of that. And now how many words do I have? I have 292 words. Alright, suppose I leave that. By the way, a good thing to do now is to save this. And I'll just save it just like this as an ARF file. Okay, and now, whoops, don't do that. Undo that. Okay, I always do that. And I think what you have to do is save this, uncheck this, but it already wrote. So it says overwrite it. I'm going to say yes. And I'm just going to check. How big was that file? No, it didn't work. Some reason the way I saved it, it didn't work. Because I did that thing at the beginning. Now let me try it again. Let's try it once more. Okay, now it saved it as this. Okay, so you can, now I have that, all that removing stuff that I've done, I've got that permanently in this file, so I don't have to do that again if I come back. Now I can build the model. Now one thing you could do, I didn't mention this, was, oops, you could use this class assigner. And I want to assign the class variable to be center emo, which is the first variable. So I'm going to do 1. I don't know if this doesn't seem to really work though, but okay, I'll just do it. Did I apply it? Okay, I applied it. All right, now let's classify. Let's just do a simple one where we just use a percentage split. And make sure that the variable that you want to classify you select here. I think you have to do that, even though I just did something like that just now. Now I'm going to go to trees. Okay, now it didn't work, right? Why didn't it work? Why don't I see the J48 tree that I want to see here? That one? Because I forgot that J48 only, the output variable for J48 has to be nominal. So I have to make this variable nominal. So I'll do that now here. Numeric, so it's under here and under numeric to nominal. And not first to last, don't let it do that to you. It's only the first one that I want, so just the first variable, just center emo. I don't want to make all the variables nominal. And apply it, don't forget to apply it. Now you can see that it looks like it's nominal. Now if I go back and check for J48, I still don't see it. That's because this is no longer focused on that variable. I have to focus on that variable. Now if I go back and do it, I do see J48. And I'm going to run this and just click start. And then it takes some time to build the model. Okay, finally it finished. Let's see how well it did. 49%, that's similar to what we got in class. And the tree looks pretty big. So it's going to be too hard to read this tree, much too hard. So if we try to visualize this, now there are ways to make the tree smaller. No, that's too big. That's never going to it's never going to be useful for us. Yeah. Now another thing you could do, instead of making the variable, this would be an interesting thing to do. I hope maybe some of you will do this. In addition to this one that I just did with J48, go back to here. Let's see, if I undo this, now center emo still is numeric. So try doing regression on this. You can do regression if the variable is numeric. And that would be very interesting to come up with the regression equation for this. Okay, so try to do that also. But I won't explain how to do that. I'll let you try and figure it out yourself. Okay. Okay, actually I'll show you the results of the regression. And here it is. I did it wrong. I predicted YouTube. That's not what I want. Let me try to. Okay, here's the result when I'm trying to predict, so many words, center emo. Now here's kind of interesting because regression, this is an equation actually, equals this times this plus this times this plus this times this plus this times this. This is an equation. So it means that like change has a kind of value of 2 in terms of predicting sentiment. So like if change is 1, then it's 1 times 2.1 gets added into the center emo. And home has a negative. So this kind of tells you that certain words are associated with negative sentiment and certain are associated with positive. Now there's a problem with this, and that's the problem what's called multicollinearity. And that means that if you have certain of these are all variables, if you have certain of these variables that are correlated, then these numbers start to have not so much meaning anymore. You can't really interpret these numbers anymore. So maybe you should look up the notion of multicollinearity and see if you can what you can say about that as well. Now, one other thing, in order to show your results, you can right-click here and view in a separate window, and it's just the same window actually. And then you can just select all and copy, and you can show that. And you should also explain some of the meaning of the results. Now this is quite high actually. That's kind of amazing. 70% prediction. The correlation coefficient, which is a measure of regression accuracy, is 70%. That's remarkably high, seems to me. So it means that this regression model can predict with 70% accuracy. I wonder if it's true. The sentiment. So if we had new tweets, we could apply this model and maybe we would get 70% accuracy. So that would mean like without having to read the tweets and yeah. Now an interesting question here would be to explore, and maybe some of you might even want to try this or try it for your project, would be to see how well a model that you make for one word like iPhone, how well does it predict if you use the same model for Android. Now you can use the same, you can save this model by right-clicking and save model, and then you can reload the model later. And if you go through my videos, I explain how to use a model that you've built already for new data. Now there's certain restrictions about it, but this is a very interesting question. Okay.